Good afternoon. My name is Chasi. It is my Tlingit name. I am Alaska Native, born and bred in Southeast Alaska, lived in Washington State for over 30 years. I have called this place home. This great state of Washington has raised my daughter, Emma. This bill coming before you here today is based off of over 25 years of working with the Washington tribes, working with the 4 tribes who have treaty rights in Washington Territory. It's listening to the elders such as Jimmy Wilson from Lummi Nation. It's having the honor of sitting with Billy Frank Jr. in numerous places and hearing the stories. It's the honor of listening to Ramona Bennett from Puyallup Tribe and listening to their stories. It's from sitting by the bedside of my good friend Bob Joe from Swinomish Tribe, longtime chairman for 25 years. It comes from those of listening to tribal leaders such as Speepots from the Swinomish Tribe. This bill coming before you rights the wrong of the past. It sets our government, our Washington government, our legislators, your legacy on a right path of who we are as the Washington natives, the first people of this land, the first people who ate the salmon, the first people who fed many of you salmon, and the first people whose bloodlines and names come from this place. In 2014, the state legislature asserted a commitment to tribal sovereign nations by addressing fishing-related convictions stemming from the landmark Bolt decision of the 1970s. House Bill 1982 continues this work to correct historical wrongs committed by the state against Indigenous communities who were criminally prosecuted for exercising their sovereign treaty right for fishing, hunting, and gathering. The treaties signed by the state are not just relics of the past or empty promises. Less than 2 years ago, the Washington Supreme Court in State versus Wallahy reaffirmed the importance of honoring and upholding treaty obligations by vacating a 100-year-old hunting conviction that violated treaty rights of the Yakama Nation. House Bill 1982 advances the vision and purpose of the Centennial Accord between the state and tribal liaisons, and we as the state legislature underneath the Centennial Accord Millennium are also written into law and upholding that. It demonstrates the state legislature, all of us, are aligned in continuing the commitment to look at the new vision of what Washington State and their relationship is with the sovereign nations of Washington. Treaty rights aren't abstract, they're legal commitments. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, tribes ceded land, but reserved important things, including hunting, fishing, gathering, and pasturing. These rights are federal law. These rights are within the Constitution, which every one of us follow here together. Tribal members are prosecuted for doing what their treaty rights explicitly protected. These convictions now create barriers in everyday life. House Bill 1982 acknowledges and seeks remedy to that legacy. This legislation recognizes the pain and suffering caused by the violent and discriminatory enforcement against people from the tribes and the nations who are exercising their lawful treaty rights. It will help Native American families and tribes remove unjust convictions from their record. For some, these old convictions still impact the ability to get jobs and resources, the inability to get homes. For many, the impact is a bitter reminder of the broken promises. I also understand some people may not want to vacate a conviction that stands on a record of their honorable struggle to defend their sovereign treaty rights. I assure you that House Bill 1982 does not interfere with their choice on this matter. This bill simply provides a point of contact for those who do want the guidance and assistance to vacate an old conviction. House Bill 1982 works collaboratively with all interested parties. This bill strengthens relationships and fosters goodwill between Washington State and their sovereign tribal governments. Thank you for the tribal liaison at the Office of Public Defense. If so, and it moves forward, will be an efficient hub of statewide information and legal expertise to respond to the request for tribes and individuals all around Washington. OPD, and I'm confident in their ability, will be able to help locate decade-old records, thank you for that question, and draft vacated motions for the numerous county and city courts, each of which has its own rules and procedures. We can't change the past, but we can correct the impacts. By passing House Bill 1982, we acknowledge treaty promises, reinforce legal fairness, and remove outdated barriers for tribal members who've already endured disappropriate consequences for exercising rights guaranteed to them. I say this on the eve of the 250th anniversary of this country, as we stand prepared to send the statue of Billy Frank Jr. to the Statuary Hall as a symbol of our state. Washington State can heal some of the injustices that have scarred our national and state history. I ask you to support House Bill 1982. Thank you for giving me the grace. I normally don't speak that long. I normally don't read from a piece of paper, but the importance of being honored by the teachers of Washington State tribes and the tribal leaders who have built me and the elders of this community and all of our Native American communities, I'm really honored to bring this bill before you to make this part of your legacy.